Hi, welcome to the mini mystery quilt with GourmetQuilter. This is part of our 2020 Tasty Treats series. This series is all about a mystery quilt. So there's 20 parts to this series. There's a pattern that you can purchase for download through GourmetQuilter.com, and it has all the information that you need about the fabrics and the cutting and all of those sorts of things to be able to solve this mystery. So that's all available on GourmetQuilter.com. In the meantime, we are doing extremely well, and we are up to part 15, which means that we are pretty much 3/4 of the way through with the 20-part series. So there's a video for each part, there's a download for each day for the instructions, and then there's a video just showing you how to go about achieving what's in the instructions. So I've gone ahead, I've got some things, we've got all these fabrics that we had in our pool for drawing on to be able to create some of the evidence that we need to be able to solve this mystery. And I've taken down my D1 and my D2 pieces from the wall behind me, because we need to now cut some of those. So I've already started doing some of the cutting. And so from D2, we need to cut 2 different lengths of these. They're only narrow strips, we need 2 different lengths. I've cut 1 length. So I just thought I'd go through and cut the second length with you here and just show you how I cut. When there's several, there's a few to cut of the same size, so you can just cut them one at a time, or you could lay everything out like this. So I've got these strips here, they're full width fabric strips, just not very wide strips, and I've got them folded over, and so I've just laid the 3 of them next to each other. I'm going to trim off the ends, and if I line them up with the board, then I can see where I'm at, and I can use the board measurements to help me cut the sizes I'm after. So I'm just going to trim off those ends, so I start with a nice end, and we don't want the little selvage bits on there anyway. And then I'm just going to come along the board, and at the intervals I need to come for cutting and cut there. So I'm cutting through 6 pieces of fabric all at once, but it's actually only 2 layers of fabric, so it's really not hard to achieve. And it just gets all the cutting done pretty quickly, I have to say. So I've just cut 18 pieces of fabric there, just with 3 cuts. How amazing is that? So I think that's all pretty good. So we can relabel those now. And these pieces here, these are kind of spare, we don't need those, but you can pop that back on there just in case we need to come back to it. Other than that, I'm suggesting that we now label these 2. They were from D2, so we've got D2A for the shorter lengths, and we'll have D2B for the longer lengths. So that's that already cut. That was pretty amazing. Then we've got this D1 piece here, and that also needs cutting, and we need to cut that actually into some squares. So the same thing, I've got the fabric double, and I'm just going to walk along on the board and cut that into the squares that we need, so that everything is kind of just cut already, easy. And we'll put that back, but we're going to just leave that label as D1 at this stage, even though there's now squares and there's still part of a strip there. That's okay, that can stay as D1. So I think that's pretty good for this part. So if we get that all cut and organised, ready, because I'm pretty sure that that little piece of evidence that we've unearthed there is going to make quite a difference to some of the other evidence that we already have. So we will see about that in part 16. So I will see you again soon.